And good night, pleasant good night, and welcome to this week's episode of the Up Inside Your podcast. It's me, Kid246, alongside your boy Chad. Chad is here.
Yeah, what's going on, people? Everything good, everything good, everything good.
Think people good, man. People good. You know, somehow every time you just always expect people to replay. They don't know why.
It's true. I be waiting for feedback from the people too. Yeah, good evening, Veronica. Good evening, everybody. Come inside, have a seat, get your favorite tea. Let me get talking about this thing, man.
Yeah.
What's going on, Khalil? Good night.
Khalil, what's going on, bro? Everything blessed?
Yeah, man. Good. Glad to hear that. So, you talk to the people about what it is that we conversing about tonight. We wanted to help us to understand what's going on your end, because obviously Keita's experience and my experience might be different. So we need y'all to share with us tonight what you have been going through ever since COVID came, attacked us, still around us, and the aftermath of the pandemic that is still plaguing the world in a very big and heavy way. We need to understand from you guys what have been your experience since the entire situation, and help us to learn what is going on in your life since COVID came to the Caribbean, Barbados especially, and affected your lives. If it affect your pocket, if it affect your relationships, what making you get juck out? Talk to me about it. That's what we want tonight. It's all about what is that again your eye juck out now in this time here, so since COVID-19.
Well, I can tell people so far that my eye get juck out by a lot of things since COVID. Especially friendships that, you know, people that you're friends with, you see on a regular, obviously you had a whole string or do Zoom conversations. Even things like my wallet. My wallet. I feel like the degrees in my wallet going up though, because it's hot, it's burning me.
You mean that you spending way more money, or that more money evaporating?
The money moving fast, baby.
Okay, but coming in, so it was always coming in slow, even before COVID, but now it actually, like molasses trying to get up Farley Hill in fifth gear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, man. But let me tell you something. I see Khalil here talking about tea/whiskey. COVID has brought some blessings for me. I've become a bit more self-sufficient. I've focused on me more, my health and my family. But that's actually a good thing. That's something that's positive to take away from the topic at hand. Because usually what we try to do, Keita, is whenever we have these conversations with everybody, regardless of the topic, we always try to leave on a positive note, because it's easy to identify problems and identify issues, but it's not easy to identify solutions or paths to solutions. So what we try to do here on UpInsideYuh is that at the end of everything, we want to make people walk away with something positive, a little lesson learned.
Solution, some feedback, some positive feedback, or some.
Khalil, start me early, boy.
Or expect to learn from this show. We hope that you expect to, or hope that you gain knowledge or something thereof from our content, basically.
Right, exactly. So, we got, what's this here? Bubble I don't say I agree with the health thing here. Okay. Well, I mean, in all honesty, when you think about it, everybody had to employ a little more at-home workouts and that sort of thing, because I think Barbados started to become like a gym culture. After a few years, we started to recognize a lot more people being active, seeing them on the roads doing the thing. But it's true, take good care of your health, people. It's very important. Stress is a factor that is going to play a heavier role more than ever now. And keeping stress levels down is definitely the plug. That's what you need to do.
I tell you, keeping stress level down is harder than most people think. Because look at this way, right? A lot of people in jobs where are people who still currently have jobs, or jobs where their employers are employing less than average staff members, right? So not every staff is back to work. But the people that are at work are expected to push the workload of a full complement. So the people that are actually working harder because there's less numbers and they're working even harder because they got more to do per person. So I know stress levels high throughout this country. I could feel it. I could feel it. I know the feeling. You know what I mean? Like it rough right now all throughout the country. It rough. I can tell you that for sure.
Okay, well let me get into some of the points now about my end in terms of why I believe that, you know, I asking people why is that you want to put my eye, because I have some car parts that are necessary for my vehicle for the actual operation. I ain't doing nothing aesthetic, I ain't doing anything fancy, nothing. So these are actual essential parts. And usually what I do is I search around the island, whether it is because I constantly use black one. I prefer to go with a black one company first, and then if I can't, then I go someplace else to find my necessaries or my necessities. And there were no options on the island, so I had to take to the typical place, which is online, Amazon, eBay, wherever the case may be that I was directed. So I went there and I started looking for my items. I got through with majority, if not all, and now it has been a very, very difficult task to actually get my items from America to the shores of Barbados. Now, yes, I do understand that yet again, everything is moving slower now, even in the States. They were saying that USPCS and FedEx and so on were, you know, they're moving a little slower than usual because of everything. We have to understand this thing worldwide, everything worldwide. So it's not that part. The part that is the difficulty now is that for all of the years that I have been alive and I have been in having a car or having a motorcycle and stuff, and needed a part or parts, I still don't understand how customs and excise works within the realms of Barbados. And sometimes you think you know, and then you recognize that you don't know. You know, when it comes to when either you're going through a customs broker, you're going through a third party situation that will deal with getting your stuff from wherever to the island, or even if you bring it yourself, like my I get juck right out. I don't understand what it is that's going on in regard to the prices. There's no website that you can go to understand exactly what it is.
It's tough. They can't tell you that. They can't tell you they can understand the extent of where the charges are, because my understanding is like certain goods and certain items have different percentages of, like, I guess, duties that you will pay. And then recently, it seems as though there was a change recently where, depending on the actual value of the item as opposed to what the grade falls in, but depending on like the value of the item, if it's on, I think, $50, you don't get charged a certain amount.
You're speaking about Barbados or US?
This is in Barbados at customs excise here. If you
no, I mean if 50 Barbados or 50 US.
Barbados, 50 Barbados.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. If an item is on that particular range, you don't get charged duty, or you don't get charged a certain amount of thing. If you come through a broker, but I try to understand it, because to me it killing a lot of businesses. I could tell you that. And they're killing a lot of people that kind of doing things in the US. I'm trying to figure out if it's that if that is the reason why that they're trying to do it, like if they're purposely trying to hurt the small man for bringing in their own things, or if it's what's a pushing towards buying things locally. Like I trying to figure out what is it.
Has any publication been released regarding the reason as to why that they decided?
It's 30 US. My man Russell in chat. My man Russell's a minor. He's bringing in jerseys, football jerseys and stuff. So I know he's in no. So I believe that's saying tough though. For sure.
Okay. But this is my thing, right? The reason why I asked if there's a publication out there that indicates what was the reason for the changes, because I did hear about the upgrade of a system that's supposed to make the transition of packages leaving customs a lot quicker than it would take, previously, where that you would have something landing tomorrow, Friday, and you would expect that probably by Monday, Tuesday, you would get your item, and then it like spending another week inside the customs for whatever reasons. So I heard that the system was upgraded to eliminate that fact. All right. So with that being said, that's one aspect. That's supposed to be the one step forward. Now the two step backwards is, why would they go from, you remember back in the day, it was a size thing. It was if your package was heavy or if it was taking up a lot of size. So basically, whichever was more expensive is what you would pay or what they would tax you on. So if your item was taking up a lot of room, then you would pay for space. But if your item was heavy, you would pay based on the weight. So I don't understand why they would change that, unless, like I'm saying, and this is speculation here now, unless it is a situation where that they are looking to tax people because of the necessity for reinvigoration of of our economy, where it would be more beneficial for, if you bring in a part that's $400, to tax you based on $400, as opposed to the fact that the part might be this big. You understand? So you obviously ain't gonna get a lot for this, because this is something that ain't gonna take up a lot of space. It probably ain't weigh a lot. So it's easier to, right, you're paying for the value. So I think that has to be the rationale behind.
I know. Between me and you and people in chat, I feel as though we're paying for a new system. New system probably had a cost.
Whoa. See, why discourse? This is the reason why discourse is so important, because you see, you giving me other things to think about that I wasn't really checking for, because that's actually very true. That's actually very valuable.
Because these systems, I can tell that these systems for these things don't be cheap. These systems cost a lot. These systems cost a lot of money to implement and put in place, and people go find back the money. Sorry, people say they got the money, so they got to find the money for something.
Well, you made a point as well about buying local, but the fact of the matter is, Keita, is that we are not a manufacturing country. The only thing that we export, like I think I said in numerous episodes so far, is actual rum. That's the only thing that we really and truly export on a big level. We
export chicken more and like that.
Right.
The thing is, right? But the thing is, like, we spend a lot of money. A business owner would spend a lot of money to bring in stock, and they might have a bond or something like that with the court, where they're bringing their items on what's not, and pay a certain amount of money to bring their items. So it feels as though, and it's just me, it feels as though it's more targeted towards the small man that trying to bring in items for themselves from Amazon or eBay or something. Because, like, for instance, like, if you added your address to your credit card to ship something straight to your address in Barbados from a site overseas, with the Amazon tax and what's not, that goes to your card or whatever. So that, along with these customs and excise fees, that's what killing you. And it's more of a situation now where people tend to obviously use the brokers and what's not to bring in stuff, and the brokers gotta pay a certain amount of fees to that stuff, and you, the customer, got cover the fees. So the broker got them fee for bringing it, shipping and handling, but you still got to pay. You got to pay the customer.
That brings another dynamic of confusion to the entire story, because you recall that there was a fee attached to all online transactions from like June, not June, is June or April or I can't remember when it was implemented, but there was a 2% tax added to online transactions, and as far as I know, there was also supposed to be the VAT added to all online transactions as well. So this is my thing. Big up my record talking about Colombian nurses. So this is my thing. No, yeah, that's the thing. But this is my thing here now, Keita. If that is supposed to be something where the government holds on to something for that online transaction, right?
Yeah.
I ain't against that, you know. At the end of the day, we gotta recognize where we live. And basically, like I've said before, taxing seems to be the way that we go when it comes to implementation of anything. Taxing is one of the ways in which we are hit as a people. When one is taken, something else is added. So with that being said, I believe that by this time now in 2020, even though 2020 is the worst year ever, I believe that there should be a situation that is giving us clarity. Where, for example, let me say I go on Amazon right now to purchase a Bluetooth speaker. Okay, I go on Amazon, I select the speaker that I want, I do whatever, and then at the checkout, I see okay the price of my speaker, the price of my tax, the price of my VAT, and then my end total, my shipping and handling, my customs and excise, everything should be added onto that so that you could swipe, well, not so you care, but you know, but then you carry the information or direct carry the information, pay your money, and then sit back and relax because you know that within whatever time frame they said it's supposed to get to you, you just waiting on a phone call, an email, a text message to tell you, well, Mr. Harewood or Mr. Moore, your item has arrived and it is ready for you to pick up. And there should be nothing more, no surprise fees, no surprise charges that should be added to that. Because when I was in Canada last year, I ordered something off Amazon to bring to Canada, and they gave me one price in terms of when I purchased it from America, when it reaches the border of Canada, when it is released from the border of Canada, and then when it is delivered to where I was staying. I paid one fee. You understand? So basically, you saw one thing, and that's the end.
Yeah, but the thing is about that is like Amazon is a company in itself, and America there's Amazon in Canada. Then Amazon in Barbados, so their thing is they can ship to who they ship to, and when they ship to your address that you give them, and more likely you're not going to ship from Amazon straight to Barbados. You can probably send it to a box. That's usually the place. And once it gets to your box, which is through the shipping company, through your broker or your shipping company or whatever, is when the item gets from there to Barbados, you go send them the invoice and look at the price on there. And that's where it is. Even Russell was in the chat here saying that's no based on the duties.
Oh, I didn't see it.
The duties are charged on like the cost of the item plus the shipping cost. That is tough because I honestly feel duties just too high. That's the truth. Duties just too high, and it ain't fair to the average consumer.
You know the issue for me, Keita, is not that it is just high. There is absolutely no explanation behind it that gives the average Joe the ability and the understanding to get why this particular process is so long-winded and challenging and taxing. It just does not make sense. If there was a way for people to come out and tell you, okay, step 1, this is this. Step 2, this is why. Step 3, this is why your price is this price. Then I feel like if Barbadians would become a little more reasonably impacted by, okay, I understand. I can just try to see now if I could try and get somebody juck the thing in a bag and bring through, because a lot of us did that, myself included. Whenever somebody come in and you got a little item that ain't weigh nothing or whatever and infringing upon somebody's travel, you just throw it in the bag and come through with it. But it just doesn't make sense. It really is confusing me. Even though that we talking and we getting things out there, we getting people in the chat talking to us, explaining charges depend on this and whatever, it still is very, very confusing as to why customs and excise duties in Barbados are so high. There's no reason, there's no rhyme, there's no real explanation behind it. It's only if you're a person that brings in vehicles or you bring in whatever that you would probably have an understanding as to what it is that takes place when your car leaves whatever region, travels across the sea and then gets to Barbados. Just up to the other day, I saw the port was sending out an auction list of vehicles that were not claimed. You trying to tell me that people paying money for cars to get here and they don't want them? That's highly unlikely. The probability is that the people cannot afford the blasted fees. So where are we going to go with this? You know, I heard our Prime Minister speaking about, I think this was either last week or week before that, she addressed the nation, and she was speaking on, you know, things take time and we working with transparency and we trying to give more clarity. But I feel like these are systems within Barbados that grossly need addressing and they need handling.
Yeah. Also, I guess you could say that juck UpInsideYuh, but they got other things that juck UpInsideYuh which are like the prices in supermarkets. The price gouging.
And that's true.
I feel as though certain popular supermarkets or certain certain well-known supermarkets.
Certain popular.
I working with them, but I certain well-known supermarkets that think that your money is smart, right?
Oh Lord,
your money isn't smart. Juck UpInsideYuh and is like you money got no sense, so you money is smart.
Wait. So you mean that the price smart or the shopping smart? Which one is that you talking about?
They think that the price that you could pay in smart. So what happened is what happened is
you got you.
So one week you might gain this establishment and pay one price for cheese, right?
Yeah.
Say 1 week you gain somewhere pay $9 for cheese. 2 weeks later you want it there and the cheese is $17 and I do think that's 30 people.
What sort of cheese is that? That's cheese that was up in Blue Mountain aging or saying that price went from $9 to $17.
This cheese from anointed cows that dipped in cows anointed.
I tell you, that will go stop there because that's ridiculous. But let me say this to you as well. Okay, go ahead.
We can't just say and start there. We gotta do something about it. So it's like you can.
But that's what you do. That's what you do. Like I said before in the first episode of our podcast, you have to hit these people where it hurts, and the only place it's hurt is in the pocket. So if cheese gone up, you know what you tell Barbadians? Don't buy cheese. Do without cheese for a week, 2 weeks, a month. You know what's gonna happen then? The cheese is gonna stay there and spoil. And then when they bring out the next batch, they go sell it at the price for me to take it off of the shelf. We got power, Skipper. So don't say that don't let it stop. Let it stop there.
Yeah,
in any case, as healthy Barbadians, we shouldn't even be using cheese. We all know that as well. So you can even use that excuse as to why you don't purchase cheese anymore. You gotta start flexing some muscle, man.
You can't say we shouldn't be using cheese. I mean, everybody got a different usages for what to do cheese for. But I just saying that the price gouging, and they only did, you understand, is at different establishments. So it's hard to keep money in your pocket or spend money smartly. When the average things going up. So for instance, like we know like saying that in high demand right now globally from since March was hand sanitizer. You understand? And the price of hand sanitizer has increased by over 300%.
Who? You said what? What went up by 300%?
The price of hand sanitizer.
Oh yeah. I thought you said ham. I thought you said ham just not for you, because you have me so good.
Nah. Just hand sanitizer. The price of hand sanitizer gone up by 300%. And it's like we got hand sanitizer and that price increased and anything to do about it. And if it increase the globe from the manufacturer, and by the time it get here, you know it's going to be another 100%. Like, you don't know it's going to get more than what we can bring here for. So it runs. And these things that are a necessity right now, and then you could do about it.
I see Janelle said something about that the government is now trying to mandate a situation where that when distributors bringing in specific items, that the supermarkets are supposed to purchase from them first rather than bring in themselves. Now that is not a bad idea, but I also mentioned this in a previous episode. there is absolutely no reason why that our import food bills should be so high when it is that we have multiple local farmers and all different aspects of farming, whether it's livestock, whether it is the agriculture portion. We should be buying out all of these people things. And then if we find that we cannot live off of their produce alone, then we go outside and we fill up the excess or whatever is missing. You understand? So I had this conversation with a friend last week where he was mentioning to me the particular places that he shops and place where he shops, and he was noticing the rapid changes whenever he was shop for the month, and then he comes back the following month, he's seeing something in particular gone up. And this is what I tell people. I as a man, I build off of evidence. I don't really like a lot of speculative conversation. When gas prices started to change over the years, what I did is every month that a publication came out about the change in gas prices, whether it went up or down, I recorded it in my phone, took a snapshot of that thing and put it and label it. And that is what I did over the time, that I could speak on the rise and fall of it accurately and not just seem like some crazy conspiracy theorist. So what I usually do is whenever I go to the supermarket for a month, I keep all of those bills and I photocopy them and leave them on my computer. And what I do is I compare them every time that I go in and out so that I can see what went up, what went down. Well, nothing don't go down but here, but you know what I mean. And that gives us the ability to speak on these things fluently, accurately, and then these people or powers that be have to hear when voices come together and make that noise about something. Because we can't just be shouting out in the dark, or the price is too hot and things, this cheese didn't cost this last week. Where is your evidence of that? Where is it? So we as a people gotta get more diligent when it comes to our noise making, when it comes to these things. And that's the only way that we can really make change too.
Wait thing is, right, before COVID, right? These things didn't gain up. These things are gain up, but not as significant as the gain up right now. Like things just increasing, like bam, 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 increasing week over week. And it's not that people don't got copies of receipts or situation. Obviously word of mouth getting out that these things gain up and nothing can be done. I agree. Let me start spending money at these places. Let me see how that's gonna impact the people. But at any day, that's one company. The next company, no seeing that working with people, they can increase the prices too. Right. Everybody wants to play competition. And I can tell that when they got very few supermarkets or mini markets and so on that don't increase the prices locally significantly.
What I know from basic economics or from principles of business is that when there's the demand versus the supply shock. Now we have to be realistic. The world, ain't just Barbados, is the world that going through this pandemic situation. So the fact of the matter is that natural disasters is bring about an increase or demand for more basic necessities, whether it be food, whether it be shelter, clothing, whatever. I get that. So it only makes sense that certain things would increase because of the fact that the demand is so high and the supply may be low. But what I am saying is that we need to have that physical evidence to see just how much it has been increased by, in order to say explain to me what, let me say it's Kita supermarket. I'm like, Kita supermarket, why is it that on July, today is the 30th, July 21st, your Kellogg's cornflakes cost $11.25, and now I am back here August the 3rd. Well, that's Kraduma Day, but not anymore. But on August 3rd,
you need to rub it in though.
I said that for Crystal. Call Crystal had it for the whole week. Later would be greater, but ain't a crop over for you, so cool yourself. So this is the thing. So July 21st, you had a box of Kellogg's cornflakes for $11.25, And now today, August 3rd, your Kellogg's cornflakes gone from 11.25 now to 17.25. Explain to me, why is this so expensive now? And that is what I'm saying. You can't just go to somebody and say, oh, but this didn't cost week before last because you're gonna sound crazy. When you bring that evidence and you show them, and that's what, and it's not just one person. I'm just saying everybody gotta come together and do it. Because when you come together and you do things like that, your voice becomes stronger, it becomes more prevalent, it becomes more I guess heard. So you have to come, we gotta be more vigilant, we gotta be more diligent.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So we could always say, yeah, I can go for the cheaper item, blah blah blah, but eventually the cheaper item will become just as expensive though, because yet again, demand and supply. If I go and start buying the knockoff the Kellogg's, because again, a big bag compared to this thing, and the people starting to recognize, wait, with the Kellogg's ain't moving off of the shelf, but this moving, yeah, we got up the thing with this one, and
Yeah.
so we still losing. So we have to find the solutions to everything. We gotta find these solutions. We can't just be asking hollow questions. Why is this happening? Why is that? Nah, dog. Let me start with gathering intel. That's how you do a mission. You gotta gather intel. You gotta get the intel together. Then you gotta put forward your point or your rationale behind what it is that you got a problem with what it is. You get me?
Yeah.
Well, I hear reading one or three comments.
Yeah, I glad that everyone said stuff could do my damn thing. Don't disrespect my culture, we. Don't be disrespecting my crop over. I love crop over. It hurting me more than most people. It hurting me.
Yeah.
You think I would have been able to do this show tonight if I miss crop over.
That's true.
And that make me feel like I get a juck because they ain't got the crop over. I did crop over more than Christmas. I did crop over more than
you see.
It hurting me.
You see. Kiki White says, I read all my bills due to as well people don't check the cost price actually typed into the register. I saw a bag of shrimp saying one price on the fridge, and when I got to the cashier it was more. Now there's two ways to look at that. One is the fact that sometimes the price on the register, not the price on the register, the price on the shelf could be inaccurate or it wasn't updated. You understand? And then, or it could be that the wrong price was labeled wherever. The other one is the fact that, like, I've started to notice this now happening. You know, once upon a time we would see a price $13.99 for you cornflakes. You will put down your box, and for me, this is what I do. I tally before I get to the cash register.
Yeah, that way. Yeah, how much you spend.
So what I do now is I will look and see what's going on. So every time I boop, I watching and seeing it go on. I said, okay, Sometimes what it is that they are saying to you $13.99, like for the item, and then the tax no go get added on to that. You understand? So it's like even with like mostly vegetables, I find that happens mostly with produce. I think cornflakes was a bad example. Produce and stuff like that.
Like produce and meats and that sort of thing.
Right.
And
you would see like $13.99, and then in a little corner you see a slash per kilogram, basically.
Yeah.
So you go up there now, you think going weigh 4 kilograms, that's $13.99 times 4, and they got you cat spreader, they got you apple carrot skinner. You like, well, how this get to this price? You understand? So I trying to read some of these comments as I go along.
Yeah, request says I need the price on the charge on the carry back, and that's
right.
I don't think everything you should be able to see the price of everything up front. You should go calculate VAT for yourself. That should be included on pricing anywhere you go. You should go and double think things when you get registered. You should go idea what you're going to register with, and you spend this at some more money, more money. And know that your purchase is completed at that amount. It ain't fair though. Ain't fair. I think that some supermarkets just don't have to late because there's no there's nothing to control the pricing that they do. And they know that we can just continue to buy things because we could buy them. No, I ain't saying that these things are optional because all these things are optional. You could choose to spend your money at other places. But for some people, it's about convenience. The average person know what call leave their catchment area and go, let's say, somewhere else, which will be costly to drive there. Obviously, got to spend the gas to go somewhere else to get something cheaper. And then some things that don't be worth it based on the more gas and time that you are spending when you go to that establishment. But what you can say is that you can't expect to be just upping the price on people every week or every couple of weeks. I think that is right, and then nothing can be done about it. There got to be some clause or some rule about this because I just don't think it's fair.
All right. I seen Jason saying, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that by law you're supposed to add any VAT on the shelf. Now, that is actually a very good point. I am not 100% sure about that. But to me, that just like what you were saying before, Keith, that makes absolute sense. Where you, if you have an accurate view of whatever the item or items that you purchasing are, so that you could work within your budget. So when you get to the cash register, you don't need to remove anything because you're going over budget or whatever the case may be. I think that is the better way to be doing things. But remember, we don't live in an ideal world, and we have to be more vigilant when it comes to these things. That's why I'm saying read your bills, understand how it works, and especially this, my black people, especially this part here. There is absolutely no shame whatsoever in understanding that you have a particular budget and sticking to that budget. You don't have to prove to anybody that you can afford, oh, I gone over by $50 or whatever, so I can still keep it there. Skipper, move your things. The people that have money, just put back things, and they can afford it. So why are you trying to save face? Why are you trying to do that? So I mean, people, I just feel like intel is what we got to be gathering at this point, because nothing is going to change if we don't gather that intel and then we start to put forward the cases. Because like I saw Janelle speaking about the FTC, Fair Trading Commission. You know, I feel like Fair Trading Commission is almost like the boogeyman of society when it comes to challenging people or scaring people into thinking that, oh, if you don't do sample, this is so I can go to the FTC. But really, truly, how many cases out of the FTC have actually impacted the average Barbadian positively? You know what I mean?
The FTC is a funny thing, right, Chad? Because like the FTC is work in so many different areas. Like for instance, like refunds and stuff like that. Like all the people that be selling stuff on AG and even in certain streets in Swan Street and be like, oh, you can't get a refund, and if you're trying to commission got a strict law on that, a strict clause and everything about refund. There's no situation where you can't refund somebody. It's the law of Barbados, and people just be posting that. And the actual rule, actually one of my friends posted it on their story today, like it's literally saying that verbally or you can actually physically print it. Oh, well, it's not that you don't got to refund. That's not legitimate. It can't be so. And even like situations like Fair Trade Commission get called for so many different people, like even like in banking, water authority, people getting water for weeks and still getting bills, all sorts of everything Fair Trade Commission is actually covered. So I can't say that they can't be contacted for supermarkets, but send it then. So
but what I'm saying to you is not that we can't get to the supermarkets and talk about these things. When my request said FTC stands for Freak the Consumer. In my bag with these acronyms though, but this is what you can say. That's why I started the conversation with, other than being the boogeyman of a conversation where that I can say is that you almost do me something either, and I can tell my brother that you touch me to frighten you. So when I go to this business, like if I go to a corner store that says there are no refunds on electronics, right? Because that's something that's going on in Barbados, especially when it comes to vehicular items. When you want to buy something that's electronic, most of the time you see a sign stating that when it leaves there's no refund for that. And one is saying, and the people inside the chat is saying that that's actually against the law.
It
You
is.
can't be telling somebody, but you can't. But you know that I feel like because our society is so docile that we don't make noise about a lot of things, we just accept it and move on. You understand? Like I can make noise about it. That's me. I can go back there and I can make noise, but everybody else might not have that personality. But what I'm saying about the FTC is that it feels almost like they are just a name you call to scare somebody into thinking that you are willing to go the extra mile to make them do what it is that they're supposed to do.
So the FTC is the equivalent of the Big Brother.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because at the end of it all, I personally cannot think of any instance in the history of me being an adult male and remembering the FTC doing something that has benefited the average consumer. I've seen them do things for big corporations. I've seen them done big things for companies. Like for example, if I started a company the other day and I got the price of car parts significantly lower, people got make noise about the fact that I know breaking into them market. Oh, there's a great example. Let me say I used to build blocks, right? Let me say I used to build blocks. My family had a block building company and I take over and I went and do some research and then I noticed there's a way to make the block a lot stronger for a lot cheaper. And then I pass that on to the consumer. All of a sudden now, all of the other block makers got make noise about the fact that I cutting into their market share. That's when the FTC all of a sudden now gonna come and check me and see what I doing and try to figure out how I got it so low and how I could afford it and how I could profiteer off of it. And then they're gonna help Big Brother. That's what it comes down to. So it's like
you're trying to say
the
that
FTC don't do nothing for the average Joe, big man. That's how I feel. I have not seen any. I've not seen anything.
You still go to small man and wait up. So the FTC you're saying is jucking out the small man?
I am saying that the FTC is not has, from my opinion, and I got constantly say that at the beginning of my statements. From my opinion, I cannot remember any situation going on where that the average Barbadian, the average consumer, the average buyer has been positively affected, where a company now has to readjust how it does things to benefit that consumer. I can't remember. I can't remember of anything. And I please people, if wanna got any evidence of that and I am wrong, please tell me. I always willing to have that open dialogue. But to my memory committed, I cannot recall any time the FTC has done anything to any of these big companies and made them, call back something or reduce something. If anything, it's always being increased, and it's only when competition comes in and it basically shows the ass of the other companies that they were price gouging us and jucking out we eye. That's when them is stepping and want to know how it is that you could actually afford to pass on this price to the consumer.
I should know society that made me laugh too, right? Where she said in the chat, FTC just like the workers' unions, a myth, don't do anything, people. And that open a whole different can of worms because a lot of people are, I guess, I don't want to say to the unions, but the unions don't really, I don't find that the unions do enough for the actual employees who actually, I guess, send a portion of their salary to pay unions.
This goes back to what we spoke on in another episode as well. When you have a person or a few people that have the negotiating power of an entire group of people, and those people can be separated, put in a separate room, spoken to, coerced, and then traded, and basically decided that, if you want to get a little further in life, sorry, big dog, you just gotta get you people in line with what the agenda that going on here. You don't always got them problems. That's the reason why. Because one person is in power, one person calling the shots, so one person has the negotiating ability. That's foolishness. That's not right. So as far as I'm concerned,
So hey,
People
Jacob,
need to become the own. People need to become the own champion. That's what we gotta do. We gotta stop allowing one person to be the one, and it's all of we being that one. That's what I have been saying for the longest time. So it's only obvious that workers' union, whoever union, gonna be a waste of time because if I pull Keita use the union rep, use the body that gonna left wherever you live and walk into the meeting rooms to speak on the behalf of 250 people. When these people talk to Keita, the person, I said, Keita, I was looking at your portfolio and I see that you got a really good career trajectory. What I want to do for you is this next and turn that. But we gonna need you to calm down these 250 people and fall into what it is that we want to do. Tell me what person is going to walk away from a situation of personal advancement over the advancement of 250 people. Tell me who the miss call. I know the member yet. So that's my point. The fact of the matter is, we got to start doing our own due diligence. And yet again, come back in, show we intel, show we research, show what we have found, and then go forward making noise about change. That's really and truly the only way changes occur. You know, we could keep talking about this back and forth all the time. But if we don't do our own personal due diligence and then come together with everybody and bring together the information and then go forward with a unified voice for a unified purpose, we wasting time.
Okay.
The perfect example, big car sales companies have a problem with the small man selling cars significantly cheaper. Explain why the big business that has way more capital is selling cars so expensive. That's a perfect example of that. How is it that people make noise over cars, like for example, a truck? Let me say you bring in a Hilux truck, a nice looking Vigo, 3.7 liter, and the price tag at a certain place for $107,000, which is basically a house and land, depending on where you ban them. You get a guy bringing in now, and he could afford to sell you it for maybe I would say about 75,000, say 72, 75,000, which is more affordable for some people. But you want to get vexed.
Most people, yeah.
Most people, but you want to get vexed at people trying to find ways to pass on savings to people while making a little profit. But you want to make 300 and 400% in profit though, when you could afford.
And the same vehicle ain't got all the parts that the man that small man that bringing in with what it's supposed to come with. But you bring in the vehicle and taking out everything out of it and selling us the vehicle as stock as possible, telling us it's fully loaded. But right. Small man bringing a fully loaded vehicle, an actual fully loaded vehicle for the actual price that reasonable, you want to kill the man.
Right, because I don't know how you as a dealer or official dealer, you bringing in cars and they may got maps and all kind of thing in them, things that come standard on a vehicle.
Standard repairs.
You taking out maps. That's almost like selling you a control, telling you a system.
You gotta pay separate for that. If you want that, you gotta pay extra for that.
Well, man, you know what I was like? That just remind me of my first Nintendo. My mother bring it home and they had in a game. My mother had to buy Mario separate. I won't call the name of the business, but it's still in existence today. So it goes to show you that the people that just be trained, just like Rusty A246 said, you're basically profiteering because you're taking out something that comes naturally with something and you trying to resell it to get a higher margin of profit, which means that's highway robbery. Right. So even battery chargers and batteries and all this sort of things.
You might buy a cell phone and it come with these extra stuff like the a battery pack and the battery charger and that extra thing, and then you have phones separate and all these things. But if you want to go and bring that in yourself, they go want to kill you. You might bring in yourself. When these people bring in all these things and selling these things separate.
Right. So all of these are things that yet you see it always coming back to what it is that I suggested, gather intel, share the intel, put it together, compile that intel, and then you go forward with your evidence as to what is that going on, and be able to make noise because you got actual physical hard evidence to show what it is that you're speaking about. Because I keep telling them, right, the only way that these people are going to listen is when you hit their bottom line. There is no
Yeah.
other way to have this conversation. If you believe that making a noise about going on Facebook, putting up this post, talking about protesting and stuff like that, you're wasting time, you're wasting energy, you're wasting effort. You know what it is? Short-term suffering for long-term gain. I
Correct.
told something to show these people, you know what? We know what we worth, we know what we bought, and you gotta come to the table that we preparing. It don't work the other way. You need us, we don't need you. End of conversation. So let me hit the bottom line and then talk. You understand? So I want speak on something as well quickly that I was made aware of by listening to the news tonight. Um, Praxis closed down. That was a company that, well, a business,
Yeah.
sorry,
Business
that was
going
in
off the
existence
railroad.
for a number of years. I think that was for 18 years or something. It
Yeah.
said, and
Correct.
two employees affected from that. Right? Here, Shepherd Group basically saying that they employ 340 people and
Correct.
80 are going to be affected when it comes to the current climate in the
Yeah.
world right now and the cutbacks that are going on and so on. You know, this comes back to the conversation that we would have had before when we were speaking about the how these companies intricately weave themselves into society, make us dependent on their structure, and
Correct.
then if they have to pick up and leave, or if they find a cheaper way to operate without the capacity, you know what has
Employment.
happened. You know what has happened. The people gonna lose. So
It's no
I
loss.
I, I had this conversation with Rico, and I was so angry that I didn't think about saying it on the live, which is, we were looking at it that, XYZ place hires X amount of people within the Caribbean. But if they decided that it was best for the company to pick up and relocate elsewhere, do you think the outcries of those employees are going to change the fact that their bottom line is not higher because we paying one more than they could go across in Thailand and pay these people like cents on top of what it is I paying you? So you see why self awareness and self employment needs to really start to become a thing, and we need to have more details for businesses and companies with our own people,
We
hiring
need
our own
more.
people, and
We
so
need
on. We
more
need to be more self
entrepreneurs. We need
dependent.
more entrepreneurs and more small business owners, more
Yeah,
proprietors.
but
And
we need
society.
that support. But we need that support. So like how we've been saying as a podcast group, yourself, myself, and Ramal, we have been constantly saying no that everything opening back. Don't forget the people that had you back when it is that these other people
Correct.
were not available. Keep supporting these people.
Keep
Keep
supporting
buying from
small
the
businesses.
people.
Keep
Go out
benefiting.
there so and budget for yourself. Go and grow your own. All of a sudden now everybody doing these things. You have to keep that going. You can't just automatically think that because or everything open back, so my sense ain't got my money ain't got in the sense, so you're gonna start back spending like an idiot. What you need to do is, if you know that you're a person that you living off a certain debt, go and buy some seeds, get your little half cans. I see them on Facebook for
Yeah.
$50 for a half
On
can.
marketplace.
Go
Yeah.
and buy them and start getting your little
Start one
ground
little
and start
gardening.
building your thing. And let me tell you something. I have seen a guy, my cousin actually, up the road from here. He has started that sort of business and he's getting a decent amount of sales and stuff. I
I
can't
see it
speak on
happen.
his part.
I
I
see
can't
it.
speak on his money, but
But no,
he's making
I see
sales.
it every day. I see it every day. And my mother started doing that, and I commend her for it. And it worked, and it saves a lot.
Oh shoot,
People,
oh shoot. Can they give you a big one there, so boy? Sorry for cutting you off. The thoughts about Line Grove it'll go for me, but that make me laugh so hard, big man. But talk what you talking, Keita.
I
Sorry,
am
boy.
against that. I am against that. And you know, we
That make
can't
me
bully.
laugh so bad.
I am getting that. I know we time bony, but at the same time, I commend my mother for that because I see at the beginning,
Yeah.
at the beginning, it wasn't always easy to buy crops or buy groceries as it pertains to like cabbage and lettuce and things that we could have grown for. And I know that plays a significant part in the budget that we spend at supermarket or buying. But if we could grow our own crops or grow our own things or start a little business to do something that you know you got a little talent to do and you could start doing it, we could operate a barter system too locally.
Yeah.
A lot of people do it in other countries.
That's a
and
good
I think
idea.
that's something that I think it's something that we could do too from a local standpoint. We should be able to barter. We don't have to use money for everything, but if we could grow crops or utilize any other thing that we can trade amongst ourselves and start our own little market, we can work from there too, Chad.
That is actually a really good point, Keita. That's a really good solution to some things because like you said, the actual use of barter, that's something that exists long time before money, where that you
Yeah.
would exchange a good for a good for a service, a service for a service,
From
and
service
so on
or
and so forth.
exactly.
So I mean, we really and truly can begin to do that within our own communities and see how we can help out we one another because
Correct.
we know money is stirring like once upon a time. So we need to actively find solutions rather than just trying we hands up in the
This
air and
this this
hoping.
this
Uh,
conversation and this chat just getting so left and it won't catch me to like I almost catch the debate because they're talking about certain restaurants that
yeah,
open back and people flocking to them. But you know what? I can leave that for another episode because I
yeah,
know the time is limited and I
yeah,
just want to
definitely.
say I just want to say a special thank you to everybody in the chat. I want to say
Yeah,
thank you for logging into the Up Inside Your podcast myself,
for
Keita
sure.
Forster, Chad to share our mouth.
Yeah,
We bring you this content to you every week. Look out for good things coming from us for the next episode.
yeah,
Also,
man.
you can like, share, comment on our YouTube page. You can
Mm-hmm.
also follow us on AG at UpInsideYuh right here. And we also have the audio version on the Anchor FM app. So I want to say a special thank you and good night to everyone in chat.
Yeah, and for
And
me,
everyone watching the video.
I just want to say thank you yet again, as usual. Whenever we log on, we thankful for the outpouring of people coming in. We thankful for the comments. We thankful for the interaction. We thank you for your time because that's something that we could never give on about. So as far as I'm concerned, people keep vigilant, keep smart, keep budgeting, grow your own, ask for help, bring positive solutions, talk to us about what's happening, reach out to us, share the videos with your family and your friends. We know everybody can't make it to the live, so that's the reason why that we put it on the cast box and we put it on YouTube as well so that you can watch everything that's going on at your own convenience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't say that enough. The one joke
Yeah, for
we like,
sure.
but we can jump them back in the pocket though, cause I got
My
nothing to talk for them.
my age can't get Jacob so easy to a child, man. I know that we as
Not
a
at all.
society hopefully a lot of people learn from this convo and actually gain some sort of knowledge as it pertains to the systems that people trying to put in place to fool you or trick you. I know that this goes a long way in empowering and helping people understand what's going on in society.
Yeah,
All right,
man.
well, have a
So
good night, folks. Over and out. Boom.
up inside. Yeah.